Hey guys, my name is Seiji, here to tell you how to replace or fix your inner tube on your flat tire that you may have without having to go to the bike store and buy a whole new inner tube. Personally, I don't like buying a whole new inner tube because that's really expensive. I'm kind of cheap, so I'd rather just repair it every single time. Okay, so first things first, you gotta go to the bike store first. Things you need to pick up: your bike pump. You should already have one if you have a bike. Second, you're going to need your patch kit. In your patch kit, you will have vulcanizing cement. You're going to have some patches of like varying size, depending on how big your hole is in your inner tube. And you're going to have some sandpaper to scuff up the material just a little bit. And you're going to need like a colored Sharpie or some whiteout so you can like point out like where the hole is in your inner tube so you don't forget and have to do the whole process again. Alright, so the first thing you have to do is unscrew the plastic cap and put it in a safe place. You don't want to lose that. And then unscrew this small screw right here, which releases all the air. If you have a flat tire, it might already be flat, but just try to release all the air in your tire. And you're going to squeeze around to make sure all your air comes out of your tire. And then just screw it back in because you do not want to lose a screw, or else you will have to buy a whole new inner tube because nobody makes replacements for those parts. You then unscrew the little screw around the tip of the inner tube, and also you need to put that in a safe place because you then don't want you to lose that. Alright, now that you have most of your screws unscrewed, you're just left with the tire that's really loose on the rim. Then you're going to get your tire levers. Forgot to say that in the instructions. You also need these. So for these, since they're mountain bike tires, they're kind of loose, I could pry them up manually, but on your typical bike, you're going to need these. So you pretty much stick it in and pry it underneath like one of the walls of the tire, and you're going to pull it over the rim. You're then going to create some space, get your other tire lever, also put it under the wall, and just rotate all the way around. And once it's sort of loose, you can just use your hands manually and just go all the way around. Now that one of your walls is off, you then get your other lever and just pry it up. Again, doing the same process. Over and around. Once that's off, you're going to just pull your inner tube, the tip, out of the hole that's in your wheel. And you just pull it out like so. And just put your wheel off to the side. Then you could just remove your inner tube out of your tire. And you then have your inner tube. Okay, you then want to just unscrew it and try pumping it up again. Pump it with like some substantial amount of pressure. And just screw this tip back on so that the pressure is not released. Sometimes if your hole is big enough, got a huge puncture, you can sometimes hear it and just spot it, which you'll then mark it using your Sharpie, whatever. But in this case, I didn't want to put a hole in my inner tube. So, as an example, have a note card, works sort of like an inner tube. Let's say you have a hole. Pretend like this is your inner tube. You're going to mark it. As a way to find it, you can place this underneath some water and see where the air bubbles are coming out of the inner tube. And just mark it using your marker. And just keep rotating around. Once you've found like all the holes in your inner tube, you then have to dry it off with a towel and just release all the pressure once again. Alright, you're then going to get your patch kit, going to unscrew your vulcanizing cement, And you could either use gloves or you could just use your fingers. Kind of dries out your hands. Maybe not the best for your skin, but oh well. So you're going to place your cement on your finger, on your hole. You just have to pretend this is a hole right here. Just on it, and it should be the size of your patch. Just a small layer of it. You then have to wait just a little bit for the cement to sort of set up. Hopefully this sets up really fast. You then get your patches. You're going to peel one of the layers off. You then are going to apply your patch to the cement that you put on your flat, and just apply pressure using your hands. And you should apply pressure for just a little bit so that your patch will adhere to your inner tube. And just use your thumbs and go around, making sure all the air bubbles are out, and so that it will stick to your inner tube. And what might also help with the patch sticking to your inner tube is that it also comes with, or should have came with, there it is, some sandpaper. You use this to scuff up your inner tube so that this will stick to it a lot better. Since this is paper, I can't really scuff it up, so that's why I kind of skip this step. Alright, so once your patch is stuck onto your inner tube, you're then going to get this other layer that should stick. Or it isn't. Alright, since this is paper, it's not going to work as well because it's just paper. It's supposed to stick on rubber. But I've already patched this up previously, and this is how your final product's supposed to look like. I already tested it underneath the water, so there's no more leaks in this anymore. So, after you've tested that, you could either just trust yourself knowing that it's all patched up, or you could try to hear around to see if there's any air leaking from this, or you could put it on the water. But I don't have any water today, and I know this is patched up, so you're just going to have to trust me on this. Alright, you're then going to pump this up just a little bit so you'll get the form of the tire. Just not too much. Just close it off once again. And just put this on the inside of the walls of your tire. But before that, you should probably check with your hands to make sure your thorn that popped your tire in the first place is still not in there, because this is a long process and you just don't want to keep doing it over and over and over again. So, once you've done that, you're going to put your inner tube inside your tire. Just use your thumbs and your hands, just slowly just guide your inner tube inside your tire. And what's also important is to have this needle of your inner tube is pointing inward, because that's where the hole on your wheel is. You then have to, on most tires, there's usually going to be an arrow. My arrow is right here. This is the rotation of your tire, or the tread pattern that's supposed to go in. Some people don't care about that, but I care about that. So you're going to match that up with the direction that your wheel is going to be in. I know that this disc is going to be on the left side, so it's going to rotate in this direction. So I'm going to put this in the direction, same direction as my wheel that's going to go, or my tire that's going to go to. Alright, so you're going to find your hole and place the stem of your inner tube straight into the hole. As you see right now, none of the walls are in. the inner tube right now, so you're going to have to use your levers once again. Alright, to make this easier, you might have to, again, take some air out of your inner tube to make this process just a little bit easier. Alright, then you could just use your hands, just try to pull this wall over this wall. So the wall of your tire over the wall of the rim. And just work your way around. Alright, so once you got into a spot where you can't pull it over with your hands, you have to again use your tire levers. Just pry the tire over the rim and just push it over. Then after one more wall, so that again has to go over the other wall of the rim. And just work your way around the whole entire tire. Again, we're left with a space here where I can't pull it over with my hands, so you have to use your levers to just pry this over. Once your tire's on, you have to again make sure your stem's straight, pointing towards the center of the wheel. If it's crooked like this, you just have to just kind of grasp your tire, squeeze it a little bit, just rotate the wheel until it's perfectly straight. You're then gonna get your screw to be placed over to the side and screw this around your stem. What you should also do is pull the stem in a little bit, not too hard. You don't want to break it off, or else you're going to have to repeat this process. But instead, buy a whole new inner tube. Alright. Then, gonna unscrew this one last time. Get your pump. Just pump up your tire. For like varying riders, they prefer like the pressure of their tire. It should stay around, but I'm just going to guesstimate it just using my hands since I don't have a pressure gauge. And again, you should try. It might be with some pumps like this, it kind of puts a lot of stress on the stem. If you don't like counteract it with your using your other hand, you might break the stem, and you're going to have to buy another inner tube. Once that's all done, just unscrew, or not unscrew, screw in this tip one last time. Find the plastic cover that you put off to the side, screw it in, mount it on your bike, and now you're good to ride. Thank you.